Hi, welcome to Leading Ideas. I'm your commentator and host, Skip Everett. Recently, I received a call from a local business. This happens a lot, and the usual is, I hear you're a consultant and we need some help. This was a new customer. So I asked, what's going on? I said, we need customer service training. What I found out later on is that they needed other things, such as a higher level of trust, some different ways of treating employees, but the fix-it for this person was customer service. And that led me to think about one of the greatest teachers I've had in my own life around customer service and how the principles are universal and persistent. So I want to go back in time with you today to my childhood, where as a 7-year-old I was probably illegally employed by my grandfather at his small independent supermarket or grocery store in little East Atlanta village in Atlanta, Georgia. I want to read you an essay that I wrote several years ago, soon after his death, when I was thinking about what he had done in terms of marketing and customer service and what still works for today. So I want to share this with you. The second thing I'm going to be doing in this particular broadcast is looking at the idea of one's career. And I've put together a list about 1.5 years ago when things were at their worst about the mistakes people make when they're trying to reinvent their career. And we call this the Career Meltdown Index. So I'll be going over that afterwards. And the last thing I'll do is to talk to you about how to select a good or useful management or leadership book or resource and recommend a couple to you today. So that's where we're going. So first of all, one-to-one marketing the old-fashioned way. When my grandfather died in 1970, his funeral was attended by over 400 people. They filled Little Martha Brown Methodist Church to overflowing with their physical presence and their memories of Charlie Everett. Their display of respect was clearly out of love for Charlie as a friend and neighbor, but the common thread that bound them was that they had all been customers of or suppliers to the small independent grocery store he owned in the heart of East Atlanta. In today's boardroom buzzwords, Charlie Everett was a one-to-one marketer. He would have chuckled at being labeled anything but a groceryman. At once in the 1960s, he was ahead of the times and behind the times. He was ahead of the times by believing that customers would not abandon him for the supermarkets built on the fringes of our neighborhoods. The Krogers, A&Ps, and Colonials sprung up overnight, and East Atlanta's citizens were dazzled by the spacious parking lots, wide selection of products, and the speedy new cash register. Charlie was behind the times in assuming that mothers would continue to be homemakers and that grocery shopping would remain a vital part of a woman's planful day. Charlie was particularly behind the times in his persistent belief that groceries should be delivered to one's house, put in place by the grocery boys, and the process be repeated at the same time on the same day every week. There was no charge for delivery because Charlie's paradigm of customer service was that home delivery was the way you bought groceries. For regular customers, stopping by the store was mostly for social purposes. You stopped by to talk about family, politics, sports, and the weather. You stopped by to supervise and observe the butchers as they cut your meat order exactly the way you wanted. You stopped by on a summer Friday afternoon to pick up the watermelon that Charlie had set aside for you in the corner of the meat locker so the first bite would hurt your teeth with its perfect coldness. Charlie Everett was ahead of the times in his personal, customized, seamless delivery of groceries and goodwill to his customers. Furthermore, the wholesalers and vendors were his friends, not his adversaries. Arriving at the Atlanta Farmers Market at daybreak 6 days a week, he vigorously haggled prices for every bunch of bananas, every case of peas, every peck of pole beans, and there was meticulous inspection of corn for missing rows and serious thumping of cantaloupes, honeydews, and watermelons for the sound of ripeness. I never figured out the right sound, but to this day I will not buy a melon that I or my wife have not ceremoniously thumped. During these break of dawn soirees, I would follow him through the maze of stalls, and he would turn to me and say things like, "Mrs. Gaston likes her yellow squash small and tender. I'll get her a quarter peck of these." Or, "Julia Stevens has been waiting all summer for white corn from Hiawassee. Pick her out a bushel for canning and a dozen ears for this evening's dinner." He was, in today's overinflated technology and terminology, a one-to-one marketer who conducted constant stakeholder feedback analysis and strategic purchasing. His mission, though never written and framed, was, I believe, to serve each customer one at a time with care by providing premium quality food at a fair price and delivered to the customer's home on time and with courtesy. His list of core values, again, lived but not written down, I believe included integrity, timeliness, civility, and fairness. Charlie retired in 1965 at age 70. I've heard a few folks say he was forced out by the big boys. During the years that I spent with him soon after his retirement, I never heard him lament the closing of the store. It's my belief that he had simply finished his work and chose on principle not to pursue the supermarket route. His mission for the grocery business was accomplished. His last years were spent increasingly in pursuit of growing the perfect tomato or chrysanthemum, fishing Carroll's Lake with me and my dad, and serving as a one-to-one, on-mission, strategically aligned grandfather. Now, when I consult organizations who are struggling with issues of mission, vision, strategy, and values and customer service, his spirit returns, and I'm once again beside him at 4:30 in the morning, on our way to the Atlanta Farmers Market, just another day spent with the master of one-to-one marketing. So that's the story of my grandfather and his approach. What are the lessons from that? Customized, consistent, personalized, thoughtful. They're still principles of customer service. Our next topic, what do you do when your career is going downhill? What do you do when the times are so severely dire that you've got to do your own radical makeover in your career? In thinking of this, I at least thought of some questions, and these, by the way, are trick questions because I already have the answers. And here they are, and this is called the Career Meltdown Assessment. True or false? Number one, the old rules of dress for success do not apply. Consult fashion magazines, the lifestyle section of your newspaper, or read Inside Edition to choose your professional wardrobe. That's false. It still pays to dress up. It still pays to be neat. It still pays to have things in order. It does not necessarily pay to be trendy or too casual. And by the way, Casual Fridays, as Dilbert would say, has gone too far in some places. So dress for success. Go for it. Number two, after work functions are nobody's business but yours. All bets are off for behavior, consumption of alcohol, drugs, and colorful language on your own time. You are forever, that you work at a place, a part of that public image of that organization. And we were taught very early at Federal Express is that you're on your own on the weekends, but you've got Federal Express painted across your chest, particularly if these are neighbors and friends who know you. So your off-work behavior is important to monitor. Do you need a couple of friends to go to Vegas with occasionally? Yes, you do. But in your own community, take care, particularly in times when people are constantly looking for talent and searching for the right people for the right jobs. Number three, you will be forgiven for any inappropriate behaviors and sexual advances done during holiday events. The answer is false. These are job losers. These are career killers. Be moderate, drink lots of water, watch your language, look at who's around you, save the crazy stuff for the crazy times in Las Vegas. Number four, meltdown. A sincere apology and admission of guilt is the first step to receiving forgiveness from an offended coworker. This one's true. We said this from building trust. The first thing that has to happen when trust is broken in a relationship is someone, one of the party has to say, I'm sorry, I did it. I'll never do it again. How can I make this good? This works with customers, clients, friends, and family. Number 5, gossip and blame aimed at coworkers will show your boss that you're an astute player in the game of life. I threw this one in because in my list of worst bosses I've ever had, we'll call this guy Mike. Well, actually, that's because that was his name. And his way of doing things was everything in the workplace was personally, politically important to his next promotion. So his greatest idea for managing people was to catch them doing things wrong and tell on them to our boss's boss, to his boss, to keep us on edge and in trouble. And I would say gossip and blame aimed at coworkers is, again, a career killer, whether in management or in other functions. Number 6, attendance at company events is mandatory except in cases of illness or family crisis. Boy, don't you just hate going to some of this stuff? And is it necessary for building the team? Yes, it is. So unless you've got a good reason, show up. Company demos, company pickups, company dinners, celebrations. My grandmother taught me this, and she said, by the way, if you can't go with an open heart and a gift of your time and your talents, don't go. In other words, go with an open heart. Be prepared to be a good part of the host event. I thought that was great advice. Number 7, you are who you are. Habits developed during childhood and adolescence are permanent and will be overlooked by your managers and leaders. Absolutely false. They do not care what kind of brilliant savant you were in middle school or how many science fairs you won or what good an athlete you were. If your bad habits are still with you, they again can affect your status in the workplace. So look around you at the people who are doing well, advancing in their lives and their careers, have things in balance, and emulate some of their habits. Number 8, your private life has no bearing on promotion and advancement. We sort of went through that one. Yes, it does. We're a total package, so how you handle yourself on your own is noticed by others and is a part of the development of our leadership habits 7 days a week. Number 9, relationships at work are overrated. Work hard and you will be rewarded. This is the old thing of, I don't need people skills, I'm a technical person. Or I don't need people skills, I went to Georgia Tech, I'm an engineer. False. People skills are the go, no-go decision for many people who are chosen for management or leadership. People skills are the go, no-go for salesmen who sell. People skills are the go, no-go for that move up to the next level in your life in many relationships. Last, feelings are feelings. Be natural and react to any situation with whatever feelings or emotions are stirred up. This is under the old thing of, wow, I attended a seminar on self-enhancement and self-improvement, and the speaker said, speak your mind, be who you are, be natural. Boy, can that get you in trouble. Honesty is the best policy, but blunt attacks on other people because you don't think they're right or because you think they're wrong or because you think they're dumb are absolute career killers. Diplomacy is the alternative. One-to-one conversations with people that you don't agree with, but not this constant kind of sabotaging of situations through the overexpression of feelings. We call this kind of person the rolling grenade. You never know when they're going to go off. So these are 10 things to think about as we think about rebuilding our career. Much of it is around our behavior at work, our behavior not at work and on our personal time that will enhance our chances of being chosen to go to the next level or to a new place or to a different position. So thanks for being with me today. I'll see you next time.